Hello and welcome, this is Rooflemonger, and in this video we're going to be going over some of the most interesting changes we have seen for the balance patch upcoming for Dragon Ball FighterZ. Now obviously this is only a small amount of what we currently know, although it's still a lot, right? And there's a lot more to come just yet, but we don't know what the other ones are, so we're just going to work with the ones we got. And don't worry, because the ones we got are plenty fascinating enough. So in this video I picked 5 specific changes I find the most interesting to go over, and without any further ado, let's go over them. So the first change I would like to talk about is Cooler. So this is the change of all the changes that it most jumped out at me out of everything. And that is the fact that his dive kick, that is the medium and EX version of dive kick, and that's I'm assuming grounded in there, are going to be advantage, aka plus, on block. So not the light version, just so you know, not the light version, just the medium and EX versions. So Cooler, I'm not going to say anyone's really going to accuse him of being a bad character, but one of the things he kind of struggles to do is, for lack of a better term, he's just too honest. Like, he can't really force mixes like other characters can. He's got big buttons, and big buttons are fantastic. Better to have big buttons than not. But other than just, like, you know, doing something, calling an assist and keeping pressure, like, he struggles to keep any real pressure going in this game, right? Like, his main game plan is try to catch you hitting something in neutral and abusing his big buttons. But now, with the fact that this being plus means it's his turn, and who knows how plus it is. It could be +1, could be +2 like a Vanish. It doesn't really matter because Cooler does, unlike the other big characters, Cooler has a 6-frame stand light. So even if he's +1, the small characters, the faster characters, he'll still be able to beat them out, unlike the other big boys. So that is the one saving grace. So even if it's only +1, it'll still be a big deal, as he'll always have the potential to go first. But if we land in the other person's face with this, it's really big deal because it's just like a Vanish setup, right? Just like a Vanish, if you block, it's the other guy's turn, and Cooler has all the tools needed to really mess that up, because just something simple like this, right? Because the absurd range of down M, you can't backdash out. Now, of course, if you know what's coming, you can disrespect it and, like, hit buttons, right? But you are not allowed to backdash out of a lot of Cooler's pressure, even with the new backdash changes. So the fact that he can have a free turn every time this gets blocked is a really big deal, because once again, the fast characters, well, he actually has a fast normal, so that's not going to stop him. He's still going to go first. You try to backdash, he's going to be able to catch you, plus, you know, the Dragon Rush shenanigans, all that kind of stuff, right? So it's kind of a big deal. And yes, you absolutely can down heavy this, right? But it comes in the thing of, it's always what you're looking for. You can always down heavy a homing dash. Do you down heavy every homing dash? No, most people don't, right? So yeah, you can absolutely down heavy it. It is a bit telegraphed, but you know what? Not everyone's going to down heavy it every time, and to be able to be advantage on block after this is going to be honestly, I think, in personal opinion, I think it's going to be a game changer for Cooler. Could be wrong, who knows, but on paper that reads incredibly strong. Another change I am pretty excited for, because it does show, you know, Arc System works, they know what's going on, they are listening, right, is for Tien. Now, Tien, I gotta say right now, the original video I put out on this matter on the patch notes coming out, there was a bit of a mistranslation. So the overhead being better, that's still true, and thank God for it, because it's not a very interesting or good move. But the mistranslation was this. So originally it was said that Dodon Ray, if you hold the button, it'll have a follow-up. That is incorrect. That was a mistranslation. What the translation meant to say is if you do your level 1 Tri-Beam, there's a follow-up. So obviously we had the Season 2 patch come, and, you know, it's been around for a while, and you can't really do double supers anymore. Well, like, you still can, but they do almost no damage, right? With a few rare exceptions. So a lot of people got hit by this, and now you can honestly say a lot of people, it was a nice to have. It wasn't a need to have, right? Like Vegito could do it with a lot of characters, and for Vegito, it was a nice to have. It wasn't a need to have. 2 characters I feel that it was a need to have, like that was a very core part of the character, was Super Saiyan Goku, and even more than Super Saiyan Goku, Tien. Tien, double Tri-Beam was kind of the thing, right? It's the most damaging level 1 super, and, you know, there's a price for it, right? Because you gotta lose 10% of your health every time you do it. So to get a double super for Tien, you were losing 20% of your life. Now it's kind of a big deal, right? But, you know, you got your dividends back in your damage output, and he's since lost it. Now, Tien certainly wasn't a bad character, even with the change, right? He was certainly a solid enough character, but now the change is this. So when you do your level 1 Tri-Beam, if you continue to hold the button, so the input shortcut would be L and M together. I play on pad, so I just hit the shoulder button. There will be a follow-up. Now, it doesn't state what the follow-up is, but a lot of characters, like, you know, let's say Bardock, right? they have a follow-up to their super, and they can burn a second bar and get some more damage, and that is not affected by the double super change, right? So for someone like Tien, where the double super was such a critical part of the game, he is now getting that option back. Now, will it be as much as 2 tri-beams in 1? I don't know. We'll have to find out when the time comes. But the fact he's getting an option to burn more bar off of level 1 again, to somewhat bring him back close to on par to where he was before, I think is a very good change for the character and should make a lot of Tien players very happy. Another potentially very interesting change is the hit change. So if you're not aware of it, the quarter circle forward having special super, the big old punch here, instead of how it currently works now, it's now going to burn all the bar you have. So right now I'm sitting at 6 bars, so if I have 6 bars, it's going to burn all 6 bars. If I have 7, it's going to burn all 7, making it basically the first level 7 super in the game, right? And we got to think, well, one, that might really affect your team order you want to place hit in, because, you know, the further down the team, the more bar they're generally going to have. And a level 7 super, you got to think about how much is that going to do, right? So we have some other characters that can burn more than just the 3 bars, right? Like Gohan's a great example. So at the end of a long combo, if you want to put on like the damage scaling and all that, it does about 2,800-ish damage, if I remember correctly. And then you have to think, well, if I can burn even more bars than that, if I can burn 7 bars, this has to do more, right? It has to potentially like 3,000. Like, this kind of thing you got to think about. Like, I don't think it'll scale just as well as the level 5s will, because the level 5s are like very specifically a commitment, versus this works with level 1 through 7, right? You can only do Gohan's level 5 if you have exactly 5 bars. This you can do if you have 1 bar. This you can do like 2, 3, 4, and so on bars, right? But still, you got to think, if you have the potential to dump all 7 bars at once, what's the damage going to look like? It better be respectable, right? Otherwise, it's not much of a change, and I certainly hope it is. Also be nice if the graphic changes a little bit, like there's a little more visual flair for each additional bar dumped on this. But yeah, it's... of all the changes you think might come to hit, this one's kind of out of left field, and it has the potential to be one of the most interesting changes, to be sure. So a very potentially interesting one for Ginyu, and could potentially completely alter the way you want to play Ginyu, is it says here the Ginyu Force now has 2 different patterns of summoning. So one they state specifically is Guldo can be summoned further away, so say we do stand S, right? And Guldo's kind of summoned right in their face. Maybe you want to do something and have that version of Guldo a bit further back so he can't get jabbed out or something like that. And it'll take a little more travel time for the spike to get there, thus potentially covering your own negative frame, stuff like that. That's pretty interesting. And the really big one. So Burter, the summoning here of him going across the screen is one of the strongest summons. Like, I guess really the purple contact's the only real stronger one, like the universal kind of strongest. And it says here that one of his alternate summons is now you can have an attack at ground height. And this already controls the screen in a ridiculous amount. And having it control the ground is gonna be absurd, to be honest with you. Like, Ginyu's already one of the best characters at controlling the neutral, especially if he has a couple assists to back him up here, because he can just kind of, for lack of a more elegant term, fill the screen with garbage. And if he can control ground level with Burter and just have him sweep back and forth on ground level, that is going to be patently ridiculous. Like, I really got no other better way to say it. Just ridiculous is the word for it. And that's just 2 of the characters, right? The Guldo one is it's interesting, sure, but the Burter one, man, if you can have him do the same stuff here on ground level, that's going to be a very big deal. Let alone what they might have in mind for Ginyu or the Purple Comet attack, right? The only question is, how are we going to do it? I know we have S, quarter circle forward S, and we don't have any motion for quarter circle back S. So maybe it'll be like quarter circle back S for a different position of a quarter circle 4 move, and down S for a different position on a stand S move. Who knows? I'm not sure. But yeah, that's a really big deal. Just that one change for Burter alone, let alone anything else that's going to happen, right? That's going to be a pretty big deal, I think. And for 16, can keep a good robot down. I do like the down ace change, because that does mean he will have the option to have a triple overhead, and that's pretty cool, but that's not what we're going to talk about here. So it says here for the medium and EX versions of his aerial pile drivers, he will be able to follow it up on hit. Now, on hit with what? Not sure. But the simple fact is, anything is already a big deal. So with his current combo structure, he often leaves a lot of hits on the table. That's why you're often going to see combos like this that vanish and then go over here, because he's still got a lot more love to dish out. Let's put it that way, right? If he has an assist on deck, then he can use that to extend the combo after the pile driver. But that's about it, right? And you can use this pile driver instead of the one I use there anytime in pretty much any basic combo structure, right? So if he gets any kind of follow-up that, it's just going to make him so much better as a solo character, even if it's just a single hit. Like, even if, say, he does this afterward, just something like that, right? That's going to make him such a better anchor character. He's already a decent anchor. He's not necessarily one of the best anchors, but he's certainly not a bad anchor. Once again, because his assist is really good, and his solo potential, just like hanging around neutral, is always really good, with a decent mix-up potential. So anything that makes him a stronger threat as an anchor is really going to amplify his use in that position, and any kind of follow-up to this is going to be awesome. And once again, like, even if he's not anchor, if he has an assist to work with, anything that just gives him more damage, because, hey, you know, he's always been one of the better characters, right? Even after nerf, after nerf, after nerf, after nerf, after nerf, he's still one of the better characters. So I think that change potentially has a lot to give him. So yeah, that's just some of my thoughts going off the changes that we currently know about. And obviously there's a lot more changes yet we have no idea about. We'll find out soon enough, and that'll be cool. But we got to work with what we know. And also, a lot of the changes are cool. These are just the ones that really stick out to me. So how will this impact everything? We don't know. Maybe this will be the rise of Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom Style 3 meta, where hit is Dark Phoenix and you play till you have 7 bars, and then 7-bar hit comes and deletes the character. Who knows? Like, maybe that's the future of Dragon Ball FighterZ. All I know is I'm actually super stoked about this. A lot of the changes seem super positive. I've not really seen anyone complain about anything, because once again, this seems to be mostly buffs. I'm sure there'll be a couple small nerfs, because it's going to be such a big deal, but still. Overall, I think almost everybody's happy about this, and that's a good feeling to have, and I myself looking forward to it, so that's pretty awesome. Anyways, that's it for this video, so thank you very much for watching. I hope this video has found you well. Go out and play some Dragon Ball.